Moving on to the final topic of the night, a topic that is exciting, man. I wish I had a palm tree behind me right now, maybe like a Mai Tai to drink,
Yeah,
like maybe a Cuban cigar or something.
Yes.
You know, a lady in a bikini, some Miami feel, because F1, baby, is going to Miami. F1 signs a 10-year deal with the city of Miami to host a Grand Prix around Hard Rock Stadium. And I mean, we've already talked about how Miami is such a great city and hosts so many great events already. So to have F1 come in, one of the highlights of the world, and it brings such a great following, and to have the United States get a second Grand Prix, I think this is amazing news.
Yeah, this is huge. We keep talking about, especially you, Brendan, about how F1, even if you don't love motorsports, F1 is like following the Travel Channel, right? They go to all these different countries, all these different, great international cities. And then you just throw Miami into the mix because Miami is a beach city. It's got palm trees. It's this glamorous, like, nightlife city. We saw when LeBron went to Miami that it became almost like an LA of the East. And it was just a really cool city. And it has very much an international flair to it. So this makes total sense for F1. F1, Boston won an F1 a few years ago, and it just didn't work out. Boston's such a densely populated city in a small geographic area. He had some residents who just didn't really want it. It was, amongst some other things with sports coming into town. But it just didn't happen in Boston. It just didn't seem like it was going to fit. It was a good attempt by the city, but it just didn't happen. Miami makes total sense. It makes total sense where it is, what kind of city it is. It's a destination city. People are going to want to go there to not just go to F1, but hang out in Miami. Go out at night. Go to the beach. Be in this tropical place like Miami. It's going to be great. You're going to see a ton of celebrities there. I mean, it makes total sense why F1 wanted to go to Miami. It just fits with all the other cities that F1 makes stops at along the way throughout the season to go to Miami. It's a home run, I think, by F1.
I'm glad producer Ben's playing the video right now, because this is the video right now that gets you hyped for the Miami GP, to get you ready. This is the video that I was sharing right now. And we're talking about a deal that was in the making for years, all right? So the first time that the Miami GP came up as an idea was around 2018. And it was just a breath and just a glimmer in our eye. But now they've actually confirmed it, made the deal, signed the deal, announced it. Ticket packages are going to be going on sale soon. So I'm pumped. I'm just looking forward to seeing where they put it on the calendar, what time of year it's going to be, and what time of year it's going to fit into American sports. Because I think, like I said, F1 is blowing up in America. It's blowing up globally, but especially here in America. So if they put it in the right time frame in America to coincide with some other big sporting events, I think that would be a great thing to do. You'd get a ton more fans. Obviously going to draw a lot more money and a lot more attention to the sport, into the race, into the city. So I think this is exciting news. And like you said, it just makes sense. They go to all these other glamorous places like a Monaco or like a Spain or an Abu Dhabi. They just came from Imola in Italy. So it's just one of those things where it just fits. It fits F1. Miami is such a glamorous city with the nightlife, the glitz, the glamour, the speed. If you go on South Beach, you're going to see Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Porsches. So it just fits in, baby, man. And it's a city. It's a city of lights and money. And so, yeah, this is perfect for F1. And I am just excited to see. The track is exciting, too. So it's built, like I said, around Hard Rock Stadium. 19 turns around Hard Rock Stadium. And it looks like it's going to be an exciting track that hopefully is going to have a good amount of overtake opportunities, because that's really what brings the excitement to F1, is when we can see great, close wheel-to-wheel racing and wheel-to-wheel excitement and overtake opportunities. But you brought up how Boston tried to get an F1 race, and boy, was I amped for that, and I was really excited. Didn't come to play. They had 2 different track layouts in Boston. The first one they wanted to do was a street circuit. That's when a lot of people complained because you would have to shut down the streets for pretty much like 5 or 6 days, almost a week to build the circuit. Then you've got the practice sessions plus the GP. And you also have some accompanying motorsports like F2 that sometimes comes with F1. So that didn't pan out. Then they tried to move it out to one of the airports, and the track layout just was not exciting enough. So then it just kind of just bailed out on Boston at that point. But hey, seeing Miami come and add in an additional city, we obviously already have the United States Grand Prix, which is in Austin, Texas in October. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that every year at the Circuit of America. It's a great track, but I'm really looking forward to this second race on the American continent. And believe it or not, America has the most F1 style tracks in the world and the most F1 rated tracks in the world. So we really deserved more than 1 Grand Prix. Now we've got them, and it's 2, and it's coming to Miami, baby, and I'll be ready. I'm going to go get my bathing suit after the show and try it on because I'm going to be looking forward to hitting the beach and spending some time in Miami and then watching an exciting race around Hard Rock Stadium.
You know, we talk about F1 over the last few weeks. We keep talking about Lewis Hamilton, and the guy's a superstar. I'm just picturing Lewis Hamilton, the superstar, in Miami, with shades on and signing autographs for fans and doing all that kind of stuff. That's gonna be a lot of fun, especially to see a guy like him there. Brandon, I'm gonna put you on the spot. You mentioned you hope that the F1 puts this event in at a good time of the year. What time of the year, roughly, do you think would be good for Miami to have this?
I honestly think like a springtime race, I think would be amazing. Like, obviously, like we've had just the second Grand Prix, so F1, the season has started. I think if you could have it on the calendar, maybe the second or third race, or maybe even the 4th race of the year, where it comes into like a late April or a May or an early June, I think that would be an amazing time of year where it's not super hot yet in Miami, but it's still going to be a really beautiful time of year, an exciting time of year. We've talked about how exciting we've enjoyed April, right, in sports, and May is coming up. So I think that would be the perfect time for them to bring it in.
Yeah, that's a great call. I think if you sandwich it in between the NFL draft and the Kentucky Derby, you got the Miami F1 race right there. I think that'd be awesome. That'd be an unbelievable 6 weeks, starting with the NCAA tournament all the way through to the Grand Prix and then the Kentucky Derby in May. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's certainly exciting, especially for all F1 fans, but just sports fans here in America. Another great event to look forward to. And again, after the pandemic, any type of big business and help you can give to local businesses in the big cities in America is going to be huge because they were the ones that were really hit hardest by the pandemic in those condensely populated areas, and Miami's one of them. So hopefully this helps the economy in Miami as well. I think it's definitely going to do wonders there. Folks, that's going to do it for Comeback Sports this week. As we mentioned, next week is going to be a big week for the NFL draft. Our next show is going to be the night before the NFL draft. Brandon and I love football. We're going to talk a lot about the draft. It might be all draft. We'll see what happens. Crazy stuff's been happening every week in sports, but there's going to be a lot of draft stuff next week, so make sure you tune in for that, along with some other sports stuff. And again, if you see this phone number at the bottom of the screen and you want to ask us a question or make a comment about what we've been talking about in sports or anything going on in sports, call that number, leave a voicemail. We will play it on the air. We will mention your name, and we will talk about whatever you want to talk about on that voicemail. Make sure you check that out as well. You can also follow us on Twitter. You can see the Twitter handles at the bottom of the screen. And finally, if you're watching this on YouTube, which that's the only way you can watch it right now, so you got to be watching it on YouTube, give us a subscription on Comeback Sports, and we will make sure we say your name on the air once you subscribe to our show. Folks, we will see you next week for a big draft Comeback Sports episode. But for right now, we're going to say so long from Comeback Sports. Have a good night, everybody.